Try the new link. Are you hearing what I'm saying? I shared the story about an engineer that had planned on waiting till he was 70 years old. All right. His Social Security, Patty, this is amazing. When we did this, and I remember testing it in 2012. So his Social Security amount was close to 60. No, his was 50,000 a year. His wife was $20,000 a year. All right. So we had her do what was called a file and suspend, that they took away that benefit now. So as a result, when we ran the report, his plan had been to wait till he was 70. He said, I don't need the income. All right. So I asked him a question. I said, Rich, I said, do you want to control the money, or would you like the government to control the money? He said, no, I'd rather control the money. And I said, why don't we do it this way? So guess what? We created an asset, and his combined asset between him and his wife is now $1.3 million.
Wow.
Now, that's a whole lot better than a $255 death benefit from Social Security. By the way, that's what the death benefit is. And if he wants income from that account, you know how much he can draw now? $37,000 a year tax-free, which is a whole lot better than the $900 a month extra he was going to get at 70 and a half years old. Now, if you think about his level at $70,000 a year with his wife, right? 70 times 5 years, all right? That's $350,000, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, $350,000, which now he would have got an extra $10,000. How many years would it have taken him to make up that $350,000? Our strategy, he's got more money and it's tax-free. And it's an asset that he can pass on to his kids, tax-free. Boy, I love that phrase, tax-free.
And you know what? I think people will love that phrase more and more as time goes by.
Oh, so well said. So well said. How much do you think our government wants to get into our pockets right now due to all the debt that they've created?
And they continue to create.
Patty, think about this. We loan money to the government, right? Aren't we loaning them the money?
You mean the money that I get back on my taxes? They didn't give me that money?
No, they didn't give it to you. It's your own money. It's like, I loved it when I hear people say, oh, I get dividends from my life insurance policy.
No, you don't.
You know what that dividend is?
Overpayment.
Overpayment premium they give you. It sounds similar, doesn't it?
Doesn't it?
So the government gives you your own money back. But here's the kicker, Patty. They charge us interest to loan us our money back. What's wrong with that
You
picture?
said they pay us interest to borrow our money?
No, we paid them. We paid them interest for loaning them money. Does that sound like a loan shark, maybe? It's crazy.
It's so funny you said that the name of the show was Social Security Strategies, right?
Right.
Did you know that
it's the best Social Security strategy?
Absolutely. Yeah. So do you think a better Social Security strategy would be to tell somebody to work 35 more years?
Oh, yeah. That would be great for Social Security. Maybe not you.
Well, exactly. Because if you Google Social Security strategies,
okay,
top 10, work 35 years.
Okay.
Okay. Earn a higher salary.
Ooh.
Why didn't we think of that? I am so sorry, but Mr. Employer, I would like to earn more money.
I want to be able to retire someday.
Exactly.
I need you to help me. So I need you to pay me $20,000 a year. And you've got, you're a rich guy, so you can cover it.
Absolutely. Exactly. And then another one, and you can tell him.
And by the way, I don't want to work for it either.
Oh, yeah. I want to work 20 hours a week.
Yeah.
And that is a 2-hour lunch included, right?
It is.
Don't
yes.
even go there, right? Okay. We get 2 holidays for that day, right?
Oh, yeah. It's much cheaper.
But anyway, and also consider delaying Social Security until you're 70.
Right.
I mean, the list.
So that way, wait, we don't have to pay you if you delay it.
Payments.
Right. And Patty, we can wait till you're 74 to turn on the RMD, which means the tax burden is going to fall on your kids.
Exactly.
Because you live less time.
Exactly. Or, okay, I'll shut up after this last one. Pay back your Social Security benefits.
Right. I know. I'm going to send my Social Security back to Bernie Sanders.
Exactly.
Because he believes in redistribution of
exactly. So I was just wondering what other strategies there are out there that people could use besides the one that we offer. So Yeah, not
I-
good choices.
I haven't seen it, and I'm telling you,
Why?
when I had that conversation
Oh, they
yesterday with the
asked
group,
me
the
earlier.
seminar I did at Lake Kiwi, I don't think they'd ever heard that before. And when I explained to
Oh,
them that
mhm.
you can do this
Because
big
you're up
asset,
I bet some lights came
What
on.
we're doing, what
yeah,
you
yeah,
talking about?
and it
I'm
wasn't
not
even dark yet.
There you go.
So,
I'm
so
telling
here's the
you.
point, folks. You can reach us at 1-800-440-0434, or you can go to mymoneyissafe.com. Go to mymoneyissafe.com. You can email us at info@mymoneyissafe.com. Folks, you can go to the Prosperity Group Advisors YouTube channel. Go to at mymoneyissafe.com. So if you go to YouTube, and then / at mymoneyissafe.com. And you can find us through Salem Media Group at Faith Talk Tampa, Saturday mornings at 11 a.m., 860 The Answer in Tampa. That's Sunday at 8 a.m. and 11 p.m. And in Sarasota at 9:30 The Answer, 93.7, Saturday at 11 a.m. and Sunday at 8 a.m. We are on these stations. And you can also go to Your Carolina, and you can also find us in Your Carolinas in Greenville, South Carolina, and it's WSPA, which is CBS. And then you can also go to our Facebook page, the Prosperity Group Advisors LLC. So, wow, that's a lot of different media that we're on, Patty. I mean, I got
lots of ways to find us.
Lots of ways. And so, folks, if you would like to stay in touch, we would love your comments. We would like your likes on Facebook, and let us know maybe shows that you want us to talk about, subjects that you want us to talk about. I did that at a seminar. We picked 5 subjects, and I just kind of freelanced and we talked about the seminars. I actually like that format. I felt it was more engaging, and we might try to do that at some of our restaurant seminars. We've got one, by the way, coming November 7th and November 14th at City Range in Greenville, South Carolina. Go to our website, and if you would like to come, you must RSVP. You can't just show up at the event. But I believe it's going to be at 6 or 6:30, and you can go to our website and you go to City Range November 7th and November 14th. So, folks, stay tuned on that. Patty, any closing comments before we run out of time this segment?
No, but I think it's a really great subject, a great topic. And if you are listening and would like to talk to us about that, Greg does have some great strategies and ideas to earn you and to get you tax-free income with that Social Security.
Yeah, and here's the other thing, Patty. If they can't qualify for the tax-free strategy, we can still put it in something that will create
Absolutely
an asset and add money. Think about this: if they took $60,000, that money could be worth $200,000-300,000 in that 5-year period. That's a whole lot better than,
and get them
depending on
pension-like
the government.
income.
Folks, we are out of time this segment. Stay tuned. We'll be right back. 1-800-440-0434. MyMoneyIsSafe.com.
Ladies and gentlemen, mark your calendars for an unforgettable evening of insight and inspiration. Join me, Sebastian Gorka, and my fellow Salem media hosts, Dennis Prager and Mike Gallagher, on Tuesday, November 14th at the T. Pepin's Hospitality Center for an engaging and thought-provoking discussion on the issues that truly matter, those pivotal topics that will shape this upcoming election. It will be a night of intellectual stimulation, exclusive encounters, and unforgettable moments. Experience a one-in-a-lifetime opportunity with a meet and greet session. This event will also feature a special guest appearance by
Where's the Hawaiian shirt today?
Todd Saylor. Secure your spot now by visiting theanswertampa.com. That's theanswertampa.com. Don't miss out on this remarkable event that promises to leave you inspired and empowered. Visit theanswertampa.com, and I'll see you on November 14th.
I got a call from an old friend. We laughed about how we had changed. But I could tell things weren't going as well as he planned. He tried to hide his feelings, but they only gave him away. The longer I listened, the more I kept wishing that I knew the right words to say. When you reach my hand, you're the
Ladies and gentlemen, you know, we've been so proud to be in the Greenville area for all of this time. And by the way, folks, the song that you heard is a song called I Need You. And that's a song written by my late wife, Marie, and myself. And it's called I Need You. And it just talks about how no matter what we need, no matter how much money we have, that we need Jesus in our lives. And I really believe that with all my heart. Uh, you know, the reality, folks, is what's the best social security strategy? Let me answer the question. I'm going to be real clear. It depends. It depends what your needs are. I had somebody say to me, and this was really interesting that they said this. They said, we heard all this stuff that we were running out of money and Obama was going to means test Social Security. There was rumors of that. So I took it at 62. Big mistake. Big mistake at that point. You know, you plan for the worst, but you hope for the best. But it's almost like Y2K. I remember people that sold businesses. The world was going to stop because the computer clock would stop ticking after the year 2000. And we are 2023, 23 years later. And I know some of those businesses that closed, and they've been closed ever since then. Why? They made a decision based on fear. You don't need to make a decision based on fear regarding Social Security. You want to make a decision based with a sound mind. You want to base your decision on what your needs are. Now, if you need money at 62 and you make less than $20,000 a year, that might be the right strategy for you. But don't base it on rumors. Don't base it on a water cooler conversation with someone. I've seen so many people do that. Patty, I brought up the subject at the seminar and I said, you will not believe the number of people that tell us they never look at their 401k. Lady put her head down and she goes, I do the same thing. I never look at it. I'm like, what? I said, sticking your head in the sand's not going to make the problem go away. Be alert to what's going on. If you don't know what's going on, ask questions, folks. That's why we're here.
But you know what? I think there were probably more people there than her.
Oh, yeah. She was just the brave one, really, to be honest.
I am proud of her for saying that.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree. I agree. And that's an honest statement. And I've heard that throughout the years. Most people don't want to admit it. But here's the other reason, Patty. People don't know how to read their statements.
And do you think that's by design?
Golly, you wouldn't think it'd be complicated on purpose, is it?
Yeah.
I mean, why would they do that? Right? Does somebody not want you to know how bad your accounts are doing or how good your accounts are?
And the shocking thing is also that some people that do read their statements think they're making money. Well, the ones that are 401k statements.
Well, let's look at this. We talked about this. Yeah, because you're contributing and your employer's contributing.
Mm-hmm.
So you might not see the loss. Do you know how many people got caught off guard in 2008? Because their contributions was there. So it kind of took a threshold before all of a sudden they started losing. They realized they started losing money in their 401k. I'd say there's probably a month lag time. So people didn't respond. You know, folks have asked us about strategies and you know, sell high, buy low. But when the market's erratic, be conservative. Don't watch your money go down, you know, because your money goes up, it goes down, it goes up, it goes down. So you're kind of like on a teeter-totter. I think that should be a subject for a show. Don't get on a financial teeter-totter. What do you think?
Or the playground of your finances.
The playground of your finances. Sounds like a song.
Yeah, but
on the playground of your finances.
I will not back you with singing.
You won't back me with singing? Okay. Okay.
You can thank me later. But you're absolutely right, Greg. It is, you know, what people see on their statements and what they don't see on their statements, either way you look at it, is what we're talking about.
Yeah. Yeah. That's so true. You know, folks, I'm going to end this segment. We've talked about, Patty, we're going to talk about I believe we are faced with the greatest safe money opportunity that we've seen.
All right, Doc,
We
I am
have
in
people
position.
right
Are
now
you
that
there?
take advantage of
I
some
am
of the
here. Can you
strategies
hear
that
me?
we offer. And I believe that when this market corrects, people are going to be thankful
Doc,
that had followed our
Ken?
strategies.
I can hear
So
you.
right now,
I can hear
we talk
you.
about a client that
You're
put
not
in
looking good. All I see
$1
is a Dr. Bill slide.
$250,000 to his account. By the way, he had another $500,000.
Oh,
Now
you've warmed the coggles of my heart now.
Added to his account.
Now I'm back at it, buddy boy.
45%. So that's
what is the Japanese picture behind you there?
50 to
That was built by a shogun back in the
percent. That's
the
$245,000
early Renaissance.
was added
And,
to his
He gave
$500,000.
after he died. He willed it.
So that's
to the,
$500,000 that
local
was
Buddhist,
added to his $1.5 million.
monks or priest or
Folks, how long is it going to take the
Shinto, I forget
market
if it was Shinto or Buddhist, and so
to be able to put
they've
that money into
occupied
your
that for
account
several hundred years.
And
Safely.
and he understands
Right,
that
it looks
he
pretty
has
good
no
shape.
market risk
Yeah, it's very
within
famous.
this
It's
strategy. Now,
gold
you
leaf.
got to look at the company, the claims
So that's
paying
all
history of the
gold,
company, but
and,
there's also a program
it's,
that people have asked us about.
It's a place
It's called
for
the legal
tourists. Hey,
reserve
can you
system.
turn off
Look
the
at the legal
background
reserve
feedback?
system
I'm
of
having a
life
hard time
insurance
concentrating.
policies.
Thank you.
There, that better?
Better. And so, by the way, we're live streaming. So at any rate, we'll give a little bit to the people who are coming in early on the live stream. At any rate, so the monks and the priests, they continue to operate this as a tourist attraction, and they make money for the upkeep and for their religious group there. And they have a gift shop, and you can buy things, and you can put little.
Would that be called a Kubota?
Don't know what you would call that. Pagoda? Yeah, it's a pagoda type of structure, but it's not a true pagoda, because I think pagodas are not something you live in, but I don't know.
They're more religious, aren't they?
Yeah, they're religious, so they have a religious symbology to them, and it's a pretty neat area there.
I'm surprised it got through the war.
Well, we intentionally did not bomb certain areas. So like the old capital of Kyoto, we did not bomb that because of its historical value. In areas like this, we did not bomb. So we did the same in other parts of the world when we were fighting in World War II. We spared historical areas.
All right, we were nice even in war.
Yeah, and I think that's important to have some morality even in war, which apparently the world doesn't realize.
Well, there are rules to war. At least there used to be, anyway.
Yeah, well,
you don't go beheading babies. That's rule number one.
Yeah, I didn't get that. I mean, what's the point of that? I guess they just don't like Jews, huh? I better lay low.
All right, Doc, you got 5 minutes here. We'll talk to you on the other side of the weather.
All right, bud.
over 100 pounds. He's a new man, and he's half the man he used to be, and he looks great. And so all of the team at WGTK, I want to wish you God's blessings. And Reggie Jackson, Action Jackson, he used to be our producer when we were at another radio station. And I just thank all of the team. I feel very honored of our relationship, and maybe they'll be back. So in the words of Arnold, I'll say, I'll be back.
Yes, we will.
So, folks, thank you so much for tuning in. You can reach us at 1-800-440-0434. Go to mymoneyissafe.com, or you can email us at info@mymoneyissafe.com. Thank you so much. God bless you. Have a great weekend.
I got a feeling.
Ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for tuning into the Prosperity Hour. And for those of you in the Greenville area, you can find us on YouTube. Go to mymoneyissafe.com on YouTube, or My Money is Safe. And folks, we'll be glad to help you any way you can. Right now, you have an opportunity that you could add significant amount of money into your retirement. I'm talking 25 to 45%. If you want to figure out how to do that and learn how to do it, give us a call at 800-440-0434. Go to mymoneyissafe.com.
Tampa Bay's only conservative station, AM 860, The Answer, WGUL. You need to download the Answer Tampa app or listen online at theanswertampa.com. Tune in at Odyssey. Here's the latest from the Answer News Center.
With SRN News, I'm Michael Harrington in Washington. President Biden says there must be a, quote, path toward peace once the Israel-Hamas crisis is over.
Even as Israel responds to the brutal October 7 Hamas attacks, President Biden is looking long-term and expressing hope for a two-state solution with independent states for the Israelis and Palestinians.
I know it's a lofty goal, and it's taken a lot of people a long time to try to get there, and we haven't gotten there. But he's not stopped working towards that goal.
National Security Council spokesman John Kirby acknowledges the goal is not new and is a difficult one, but he says the hope is that it's not impossible. Greg Clugston, the White House.
Stellantis, the maker of Jeep, has reached a tentative contract agreement with the United Auto Workers Union. It happened Saturday. The UAW, meanwhile, is escalating its strike against GM. This is SRN News.
Mainline Protestant pastors have some interesting views when it comes to faith and politics.
According to a new poll from the Public Religion Research Institute, nearly half of all mainline clergymen think it would be great if more of our elected leaders belonged to non-Christian faiths or were non-religious altogether. Breaking the numbers down by denomination, more than half of pastors in the Episcopal Church USA, PCUSA, and United Church of Christ believe that what America needs now is less Christian leadership. Michael Harrington, SRN News.
A New Jersey father filed a federal lawsuit to block a state policy preventing schools from letting parents know their children are living as the opposite sex. The dad argues the policy violates his constitutional right to raise his children and make decisions about their mental health care. Guidance issued by the state's education department also advises schools that she should keep separate files with different names for transgender students. SRN News.
Hi, folks. Dennis Prager here. You've probably been hearing my colleagues and me talking about investing with YRefi for a while now. You may have some questions, so let's review. It's true. You can earn up to a 10.25% fixed rate of return that is not correlated to the stock market or the Fed. You can turn your income on or off, compound it, whatever you choose, and there are absolutely no fees. There is no attack on principal if you ever need your money back, and you'll get your monthly statement with no surprises. Just go to investYRefi.com. That's invest, the letter Y, then refi, REFY.com. Or call 888-YRefi-24. Folks, this is a solid investment that actually helps people. Just go to investYRefi.com or call 888-YRefi-24 and tell them Dennis Prager sent you.
The following program is sponsored by Bay Area Medical Can Care Clinic.
The latest from AccuWeather at the top and bottom of the hour. Only on AM 860, The Answer.
Mostly sunny and warm today, high 89. For tonight, clear skies, low 69. Tomorrow, partly sunny and warm, high 87. Tomorrow night, clear skies, low 69. And for Tuesday, sunny to partly cloudy, remaining warm, high 87. Get your weather news when and how you want it wherever you are. Download our free app or visit AccuWeather.com. That is your AccuWeather forecast. I'm Melissa Carter for AM 860, The Answer.
Music's kind of muffled there, Ken, so you'll have to let me know when I'm on.
You're on, Doc.
I'm hot. Okay. I don't know what you're doing with that music the past few weeks, but it sounds like.
I'm sorry to hear that because it sounds fine here.
Yeah, well, tell Joe to fix it.
I'll get right on that.
By
I
the
think I'll
way,
tell Robert.
I'm Dr. Bill, your radio MD. We're doing a show. I got Ken by my side, and we do this every Sunday, 9 to 10 a.m. We're streaming live on Facebook and YouTube as well, and we're glad to have you on the show.
Delighted to have you. Absolutely. Without
delighted.
you, we'd just be talking to each other.
I'm telling you. So, I got back from vacation, week and a half ago, 2 weeks ago. And so last Sunday, I did my show and I went to bed and I woke up at 1 a.m. on Monday morning with acute belly pain, abdominal pain.
Oh my.
I've never had pain like that. First, I thought, well, maybe I'm constipated or I have gas or I'm getting a virus or whatever. It just got worse and worse. Finally, I'm begging my wife to take me to the hospital. And I am ashen. I'm about as white as a sheet and sweating profusely. And I go into the ER and they're like, oh, my God, he's having a heart attack. And I'm like, no, this is my belly. I'm having a belly attack. And so they quickly rule out a heart attack, and I'm begging. I mean, Ken, I am begging them for narcotics.
Wow.
Oh, please, God, please give me something. So they gave me some morphine, and that didn't do it. I said, you got to give me something more. So then they gave me Dilaudid, which is stronger, but they only gave me a 0.5 milligram dose, which is a weenie dose, for a guy my size. I said, guys, please. Finally, they got it calmed down and went over and had a CAT scan. Had a loop of my jejunum of small intestine, which was infarcted, ischemic, no blood flow to it. And I'm thinking, oh my God, I'm headed for surgery. So went into the ICU and the pain gradually subsided throughout the day. And so the radiologist, Dr. Stone, a good guy, he said, let's repeat the CT scan and see if it's still ischemic. Because, the small bowel is very vascular. It's like the face, and it comes back quickly, unlike the large bowel, which is much thicker and less vascular. And so we repeated it, and dang, if it hadn't come back to life.
No kidding.
I avoided the knife, and so Dr. Lanza, the intensivist, and I, we were discussing it. What's the cause of this? Because I don't have high blood pressure, or at least it's under control, and I'm not diabetic. My cholesterol is excellent. I don't have gout. I don't have any autoimmune diseases, inflammatory processes. I haven't had any blood clots in my legs or anywhere before. And I said, I bet you it's COVID. And he said, why? I said, well, I didn't tell anybody this, and don't tell anybody, Ken, because I don't want the
your secret's safe with me, Doc.
Okay, good. So we actually had COVID on the cruise, but we had our Paxlovid with us, and we didn't say anything because we didn't want to get locked in our room.
Sure.
We didn't want to get. So we just went around like nothing was wrong. I'm sure a lot of people went home and had a case of COVID, but we had fun. So who cares? So at any rate, we took our Paxlovid. We were better the next day. And so I did a literature research. And guess what? Blood clotting is one of the complications of COVID. And even the Omicron, which doesn't affect the lungs, it's upper respiratory tract, and it's not as severe, it can still precipitate autoimmune reactions and clotting reactions. And the mechanism is thought to be ACE2 receptors present at the level of the intestinal wall and of the enterocytes, which are part of the little cells that are part of the bowel wall. The ACE2 receptors are related to the ACE inhibitor receptors that we target with things like lisinopril for blood pressure and heart failure and other things. So Apparently that was it, dude. Believe it or not. And you know what the mortality rate is in a guy my age?
Pretty high, I imagine.
20%.
Yeah.
So
Wow.
I was talking with one of the guys at the hospital after we had our pharmacy and therapeutics committee meeting. He's the information guy that sits on the committee. And I said, you know what the mortality rate is? And he said, no. I said, it's 20% in my age group. He said, Doc, you're not the average 75-year-old.
That's for sure.
And you know what my son said? He said, Pops, nothing's going to kill you. I'm convinced. So I got out Tuesday, and Tuesday afternoon, I went home and I was feeling pretty good. And we decided, Lance and I decided that I should be on a blood thinner. So I started on low dose Xarelto, which is one of the newer blood thinners. Eliquis and Xarelto are the two that we're using now for atrial fibrillation and where there's a potential for clots coming from the heart and different things. We use it for deep vein clots in the legs and for clots in the lungs. After you get out of the hospital, we put you on that. So at any rate, I'm started that on a low dose. And hopefully I don't have a bleed somewhere. Oh my God.
Yeah, don't nick yourself while shaving.
Yeah, I'm telling you. And so the research shows that there's a rare but certainly reported cases, maybe a few hundred around the world of this complication. And it's fascinating. I have not been giving anticoagulants to people with COVID who have been calling me lately because I didn't think that the Omicron had that potential. But apparently I'm going to have to start doing that again. I was doing that with the Alpha and the Delta strains. I gave people the Paxlovid antibiotic, prednisone, the cortisone, and also 5 days of anticoagulation. So I guess I have to start doing that again, Ken. It's more serious than we realize, I mean,
and apparently more painful. You were you were at 10 there, weren't you?
Oh, I was at a 12. I have never had pain like that. Maybe one of my worst migraines was at that level, but this, gut ischemia, decreased blood flow to the gut is a very, very, very painful thing. It's right up there at the tip top.
Well, I'm glad you're okay.
Yeah. And guess what? Wednesday morning. She
What?
said, you're okay. Go to work.
Oh, sure.
I'm like, I was at death's door. She says, you're not now.
Is that the first time you had COVID?
No, this is the third or fourth time.
Okay. You think the vaccines have any play in that at all? Some people say, all these troubles and side effects are all vaccine related.
No, absolutely not. Absolutely not. That is completely false. And the small number of people who have had myocarditis, inflammation of the heart muscle, are far outweighed by the number of people who had the actual virus and got heart-related complications. In fact, one of the young doctors who's in our office now, he had it, and he said he had palpitations for months. And so I guess he had a little mild inflammation of the heart. So it's although these are rare complications, Ken, they are complications, and you need to take it seriously. And if you do have it, get in and see somebody, get on some Paxlovid and anti-inflammatories like prednisone and a blood thinner, and take care of yourself.
So we're still recommending another shot, update for the people over 65.
Yeah, I think we're still waiting for it to be released. I haven't seen it yet, but I know it's out there and it's ready to be released. So we'll see what happens.
Well, when you get it, let me know, because I haven't gotten it at all yet, and I've been following your advice to a T.
Except for fresh air.
The fresh air thing I haven't licked yet. No.
You haven't given up on that.
But I'm trying.
You're trying, huh? You're trying your best for God, country, and the American way of life.
There you go. You know that. Get myself a cape. Fly around.
So Israel is expanding their ground operations, and all around the world, people are protesting. And, the anti-Semitism is very, very much alive and much stronger than most people thought.
It's off the charts all of a sudden. And It's just been hidden. It's just been bubbling under, hasn't it? We've thought we licked it in this country, but we didn't.
No,
Not even close.
Not at all. And even growing up half Jewish, I got a lot of it when I was a kid. Of course, I was.
That was people were
rough.
riding horses then, so it's.
Yeah, it was. It's back in the dark ages, but I was enough of a roughneck that nobody really did anything to me.
But it's still there, obviously. Yeah.
Oh, it's still there. And did you see where they took over the Brooklyn Bridge? I guess yesterday.
I hadn't heard that one yet.
Yeah, they first they stormed Grand Central Station, and then they went down and climbed up on the Brooklyn Bridge and tried to take that over too. So, and what I don't understand is why these jurisdictions and these colleges are tolerating this, Ken. I mean, this is hate. This is what the left is always yelling about: hate crimes and hate speech. What the hell is this?
It's about as hateful as you can get.
You can't get any more hateful than to say kill all Jews
without actually killing them. Yeah.
I mean, what kind of a horrible person chops the head off of babies, for God's sakes? Yeah. I mean, this is the Holocaust, and Israel has every right to defend itself and fight back. And if it were up to me, I would tell them, wipe out the whole damn Gaza Strip. I mean, come on, explain to me how people who are so entrenched in Islamic fundamentalism and hatred of Jews, how they can be innocent when the mothers are telling the kids, if you get a chance, kill Jews. I mean, what kind of mother does this? And
I know. Yeah.
It just doesn't make any sense, Ken. It defies all logic, but it's just a whole different way of looking at the world. It is tied to deep brainwashing from infancy forward, and I don't know how we're going to undo this other than to stand up to it. Now the Republicans are saying they want to stop people coming in from Islamic countries who are espousing anti-Semitic sentiment. The Democrats have been funded by the left-wing Jews. Do you think this will wake them up? Do you think they'll figure it out? I mean,
no, I don't.
No, I don't either.
Because money is everything in politics.
Yeah, but it doesn't do you any good if you're in a concentration camp.
Well, that's true. Yeah.
I mean, you look at George Soros and his family; they're Jews. And they're big funders, and there's just a whole host of left-wing wealthy Jews who are funding these crazy Democrats.
They're not going to change.
No, I don't think so.
I don't because you got to change them. You got to get them out of there.
Yeah, I think so. And I think that they too are a lot like the fundamentalist Muslims in that they have been brainwashed from infancy, and the Jewish socialist mantra, and I don't know how you undo that. I just don't. I mean, it's just tough.
You show them pictures of babies being beheaded by people, and that should do it. I mean, it worked in World War II. I mean, you've got people went into World War II or didn't want to go into World War II. They didn't want to get involved, and what they ever do to us? They're not hurting us, that kind of thing. But once they attacked Pearl Harbor, things change. And I think that happened with 9/11 as well, obviously. You saw that. Everybody was behind George Bush to get in there and blow something up.
Yeah, for a couple of weeks. But
yeah, it did fade. You're right.
It faded. And I said at 9/11, right after that happened and Bush made his speech, I said, oh, my God, we're headed for a civil war. This is going to divide the country. And it did. And all of my left-wing friends, within months, they're like, we're over it. We deserved it. How did we deserve it? What? Well, we displaced the Palestinians and we did this and that. We didn't displace Palestinians. That the whole setup there was by the British. It wasn't us. Did you know that?
The UN did some of that.
The British went in and they said you got to make room for the Jews, and the Palestinians fought back, and the British fought them and drove them out of certain areas so the Jews would have somewhere And the Palestinians said, we don't want to live with Jews. We don't like Jews, and we want to kill Jews. Well,
emigrate to Saudi Arabia, you know?
yeah, no, well, nobody wants the Palestinians.
That's right, exactly.
They have been booted out of everywhere. And there's so much land over there. I mean, you think that Saudi Arabia could carve out a little piece of desert for them, you know? I mean, they're a huge country, and
give them an oil well. Let them.
Yeah, you know, it's empty land, but who wants them? I mean, and now the Biden administration is back to this two-state policy, which was what Carter and Clinton and, you know, all the left-wingers wanted back in
wasn't that the original plan from the UN, though, to give the Palestinians some land somewhere, then they carve out something?
Yeah, but they just couldn't get them all on a boat and ship them out. I don't know what happened.
I don't know where that haul went bad, but it did.
Here, have this water. No, I don't know. I don't remember exactly. You may be right. But here's the thing. If you give the Palestinians a state, if you allow them to be a recognized state and they get passports, guess where they're all coming? They're coming here.
Yeah, well,
they're coming here.
Yeah.
And do we want more fundamentalistic Muslims coming into the country?
Of course not.
And fomenting anti-Semitism, and you know, if they get a majority, you know, then we'll have Sharia instead of our own constitutional law. I mean, they'll just change the whole complex of our society, and it'll be the end of this great experiment. And that's not to say that we should keep Muslims out, but we should certainly make it clear that if you're going to come here, you've got to abide by the same rules that everybody else does. And
there are Muslim countries who have no trouble doing that. I mean, look at places like Dubai, and these are incredibly successful areas, all oil money, but they've learned to, you know, not blow up Israel.
Well, I think that a lot of people, a lot of the countries in the Middle East are prospering, like Saudi Arabia and the Gulf states, and they don't want to get involved because they don't want to disrupt their economies. They don't want to disrupt their path towards modernization. I mean, you know, you look at Saudi Arabia; there's a lot of rural areas where people are living basically in ignorance and hatred of non-Muslims, and it takes time to change that. As the Crown Prince said a few years ago, so I'm on TV. He said, you know, these are rural areas. These are primitive people, and it'll take a while to change them.
Generations, unfortunately.
I don't know how many, but certainly it's going to take at least 1 or 2 generations, because the kids, although with the cell phones now and the kids all talking to each other worldwide, and Facebook and YouTube and Twitter and Twitch and all that, you know, the whole complex of the world has changed. I mean, you can talk to anybody anywhere. I told you the story about my son when he had a tragedy in his life when he was a young teenager, and he sent it out on his Facebook page. I mean, people from all over the world were sending condolences to him, from England, from Australia. That was like,
wow, yeah.
They knew about it before I did. I mean, within an hour, it was all over the world, and so that's the reality of our world now, Ken. You're a dinosaur, buddy boy.
No, I use the Facebook, but I don't use the rest of them.
But you're not extinct.
Not yet.
Not yet.
Yeah, it's getting close.
You're getting close, dude.
Well, it's like just like yesterday when Matthew Perry died. I mean, everybody knew within 2 or 3 hours, just because of the social media.
Oh yeah.
Something like that 20 years ago would have taken probably your next newscast. So it could have been 6 hours before.
Would have been another newscast.
Yeah. So, you know, you might not have known until the nightly news back then.
Yeah. So now
so maybe that'll make it a smaller world for everybody. And you're right. The generations to come may have better understanding.
And, you know, Robert Card, this guy up in Maine who did the mass shooting, the police across Maine had been alerted to him a few months before. Did you know that?
Yeah, it was something about a mental health examination, or wasn't it?
Well, he made veiled threats towards his coworkers and some people at the armory or the National Guard post or whatever, And so law enforcement was told to be on the lookout for him. Go arrest his ass.
Well, yeah.
What? Look out, nothing. He's making threats. That's illegal. That's a federal crime.
You're right.
That's a state
Just
crime.
go get him.
Go get him. Go pick him up. Lock him up. Why aren't we locking these people up, Ken? Why are we letting them out on the street? Why are we letting them keep their guns? I don't get it.
I've told you 100 times, it's the judges in this country.
Well, and the lawyers, yeah.
And the lawyers, right. And now some legislature, like I mentioned a couple weeks ago, Illinois, first state in the union. No bail, no cash bail. Just walk out. They arrest you, they fingerprint you, they send you on home.
It's insane.
It is. It's nuts.
It's nuts. It makes absolutely no sense. And if there's no, and like I said, in Singapore, there's hardly any crime because nobody wants to go to jail or be hung. I mean, it is.
What you're saying? You're saying a drug deal is like a death sentence there?
Oh yeah, you import narcotics for sale and they hang you.
Yeah, see,
they actually refer to it as the gallows. They don't use any. They don't waste any medications to make your heart stop.
String you up, yeah.
They string you up. They put a rope around your neck, tie a sandbag to your feet, open the platform, and bam.
And what was theft, like a 5-year sentence or something? Burglary, like 5 years. Shoplifting. That's right.
5 years. 5 years.
Yeah, that's what we need.
The people would just go nuts. They'd melt down here. Well, they're just kids, and they don't have anything. They're all healthy as they can be, and they've got tons of cell phones and accoutrements and designer
$400 sneakers. Yeah.
Right. $400 sneakers and a pistol that probably paid $500 for if they didn't steal it.
I know.
I don't know, Ken.
Gotta put them in jail. You gotta put them in jail.
You gotta lock people up, and the crazy people, you have to be able to institutionalize them and get their guns away from them and get them on medication and make sure that they're not hallucinating anymore and make sure that they have follow-up. And like I've said, we need a lot more social workers in this country, and it's not that big of a cost, a few $1 billion a year to really flood the country with social workers who are trained in child abuse and mental illness and things like this, so that they can identify and assist in getting these people directed towards the right kind of help. And we went downtown to eat dinner last night, and I mean, I'm just in St. Pete. I'm stunned at the people that are just walking around on the street that are crazy as a bed bug,
bumbling to themselves as they go along.
Yeah, and oh my God, it is stunning, and everybody just walks around like, oh yeah, they're just part of the landscape. I mean,
just put on the blinders and keep going. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, we're walking back to the car and there's some guy laying on the street and hey, what you doing, man? I'm walking away from you.
That's right.
Getting my butt out of your territory here.
What it takes is the political will. That's it. You got to have the political will.
And you got to have somebody strong enough to implement it. I mean, we can't have a guy that can hardly stand up without assistance running the country and mumbling to himself and then falling back on old non-functional solutions, non-plus solutions like a two-state solution to the Israeli Palestinians.
Yeah, it's been tried for the last 40 years. It's not going to work. So let's come up with something new. Yeah,
it's not going to work, and the Israelis are not going to put up with that because then the Palestinians could get even more help. Yeah. And I mean, come on, Hamas and Hezbollah, they went to Iran to train.
Mm-hmm. Well, that's the root of the problem. Iran, right there.
Part of it. Part of it is this Islamic fundamentalism that's being preached to these kids, and the Quran itself, which says that if you're not a Muslim, you're inferior, and if you're a Christian or a Jew, you're people of the book. Then patience can be shown to the people of the book, the Christians and the Jews, but the Muslims are supposed to take care of them as children. So guess what? In most predominantly Muslim countries like Malaysia, if you're not a Muslim, you ain't got no vote.
Yeah.
If you're in Pakistan, you ain't got no vote. You can't even own a business without a Muslim having more than 50% ownership with you. Did you know that?
Sounds more communism than anything else.
It's fascism, dude. It ain't
Fascism. Okay.
the state doesn't own it. You can own it, but
I'm gonna get my cut, right? Yeah.
Yeah, the state will tell you how you're going to own it and what you can and cannot own.
Well, the folks who live in Saudi Arabia and in Dubai and other places like that, they're Muslim. They honor the Quran, yet they don't try and kill us all the time. Why the difference?
Well, I think that the Sauds, I think that at least some of the rich Sauds were behind 9/11. So, I mean, I've never doubted that.
That's, I think, pretty much been proven. You're right. Yeah.
But in order to keep the peace with the crown there, we kind of downplayed it and didn't go after some of the family members. And remember, there's several families that have come out of that Saud line, and the Sauds were the top dog, and these other families like Osama bin Laden, the bin Ladens, they got booted to the side, and they weren't happy about it either. And there was a well-to-do family, and so a lot of the other tribes are not happy with the Sauds, and they have done everything they can to upend the apple cart, including come after us. So
it's very complicated, isn't it? It's just so complicated.
Yeah, well, there's just a lot of players in it too, and there's a lot of money. I mean, you've given basically the Sauds went from a medieval culture, and in 100 years have jumped into the 21st century, at least some of them, because of the vast amounts of money they have. Well, you can't just hand somebody money and expect them to know how to use it wisely and with some morality and some humane aspects to it. It's just not that simple, Ken. People, you can't take somebody who's lived in poverty all their life and give them $1 million and expect them to know what to do with it. They're not going to know.
They'll be broke before you know it.
It takes time. It takes time to learn how to handle money. Even for somebody who's raised in the upper middle class, it takes time, and you got to let the kids struggle a little bit, but that's why you give them a little savings account and help them out and get them going and get them a credit card so they can get some credit and help them get set up for retirement. That's part of the learning process.
Speaking of helping people out, I'd like to help people get a cup of coffee, and I got 2 Dr. Bill, your Radio MD coffee mugs to give away.
Yahoo!
To the first person with the correct answer at 877-969-8600. That's 877-969-8600. Today's question, if you've been listening to the show, you know the answer already because we talked about it at the very beginning. What did Doc come down with? That took him to the hospital. What?
Monday morning.
What time was it? Monday morning?
Yeah, 1 a.m., 2 a.m.
Monday morning, Doc came down with something. A lot of pain. Took him to the hospital. He's okay. But what did he come down with? First correct answer at 877-969-8600. That's 877-969-8600 will win. Ain't that right, Doc?
You got it, buddy boy. And I'm at 727-384-6411. 727-384-6411. Go change your depends. Grab a cup of Joe. We'll be right back.
Thanks, Doc.
With SRN News, I'm Michael Harrington in Washington. China's foreign minister says the road to an expected meeting between President Xi Jinping and President Joe Biden would not be, quote, smooth sailing. In a meeting between the foreign minister Wang Yi and Biden, together with the latter's top aides, both sides agreed to work hard toward a bilateral meeting on the sidelines of a summit in San Francisco next month. In a statement released by China's foreign ministry, though, they said the two sides cannot rely on autopilot to make this particular meeting happen. A group of poultry producers, including the world's biggest, are asking a federal judge to dismiss his ruling that they polluted an Oklahoma watershed. Arkansas-based Tyson Foods is leading the way. And trade and economy officials from the group of 7 wealthy democracies say they will work together to ensure smooth supply chains for essentials in the future. This is SRN News.
This decade, AM 860, The Answer. Listen on our website, theanswertampa.com, 93.7 FM, W229DJ Dunedin, by downloading the Answer Tampa app or on TuneIn or Odyssey.
Dr. Bill for Bay Area Medical, located at 6399 38th Avenue North in St. Pete, 727-384-6411, 727-384-6411. Full service clinic with x-ray, heart imaging, ultrasound, stress testing, and minor surgery. We provide quality health care in a warm and friendly atmosphere. We are multilingual, well-trained, and certified. Most American insurance and new patients accepted. Bay Area Medical, home of Can Care, 727-384-6411, 727-384-6411. Dr. Bill here. With social distancing and sheltering in place, telemedicine is here. Bay Area Medical Home of Can Care Clinic offers telemedicine for new and established patients. You can see me without an in-office visit. Schedule an appointment at 727-384-6411, 727-384-6411. When it's time for your appointment, type this web address into your cell phone or computer web browser, doxy.me/Bay Area Med. A cell phone works well and is all you really need. For computers, you need a web camera and speakers. We'll give you this address when you call for your appointment. We accept most insurances and travel insurances. Canadians and visitors, please call your travel insurance company for an authorization number prior to the visit. Copays and deductibles apply. Self-pay rates are available. Just ask. We accept credit cards, PayPal, and Stripe. 727-384-6411, 727-384-6411. Dr. Bill here. My friends at St. Pete MRI and Sleep Diagnostics are your best choice for state-of-the-art MRI, CT, and sleep studies. Quality unsurpassed. 25 years experience makes St. Pete MRI my go-to imaging center. Self-pay rates are competitive and out-of-pocket cost a fraction of a hospital. Conveniently accessible from both sides of the bay at 750 94th Avenue North, St. Pete, near the Gandhi. 727-577-2220, 727-577-2220.
The latest from AccuWeather at the top and bottom of the hour, only on AM 860, The Answer.
Mostly sunny and warm today, high 89. For tonight, clear skies, low 69. Tomorrow, partly sunny and warm, high 87. Tomorrow night, clear skies, low 69. And for Tuesday, sunny to partly cloudy, remaining warm, high 87. Get your weather news when and how you want it wherever you are. Download our free app or visit AccuWeather.com. That is your AccuWeather forecast. I'm Melissa Carter for AM 860, The Answer.
And we're back. I'm Dr. Bill. Got Ken with me. We're doing a show. Second half here. How you doing, Ken?
Doing good. Waiting for an answer here on whether we got a winner. I think we do. Just don't have it yet, but it's coming.
All right. Did we have any callers today?
Oh, yeah, absolutely. They're getting the information right now from the winner. So
very good. And by the way, the guy that won last week, since I was sick, I got a little bit behind, but I'll get your mugs out to you, buddy boy.
Yeah, very good.
So Elon Musk is not sanguine about our future. He said we're inching our way into World War III. You know who else said that?
I think we did.
We did. I think we did. I think Dr. Bill's been saying it for a while, and Ken's been backing me up on it. But
yeah, I was gonna say it's no news to us, Elon.
Yeah. Oh my gosh.
I don't. The winner's name is here. Hang on a second.
All right, who we got?
George McGee.
George McGee.
George McGee of St. Petersburg knew that the doc came up with a case of
ischemic bowel from COVID.
There you go. So, but he's fine now.
The loop of my jejunum, which is part of the small bowel, lost the blood flow for several hours, but it came back. Thank God.
And George, we'll get those 2 coffee mugs out to you as soon as we can. And thanks to everybody who called in today and tried to win.
And yeah, George, and thanks for listening. We appreciate your support, and we love everybody, and we want everybody to have an opportunity to get a mug or two.
That's our quest, to supply the world with mugs.
Yep. Dr. Bill mugs.
That's right. In every house across America.
And the pens that we did for the on-site show, they're going like hot fire. like hotcakes at the office. So we put out a whole basket full, and that basket's gone in no time.
I tell you, people love pens.
They just come in, grab a handful, and run. Like, wait a minute.
That's not what we wanted to happen, though.
So we let an employee go this week, and Ken, she went ballistic. She threw sundry jars and broke them on the floor, and
Oh my!
she yelling and screaming, and she just went postal on us. Fortunately, she wasn't armed.
Yeah. Well, wow.
The workforce is changing. It's changing, my friend.
You have to get some security there now, Doc.
Yep, I can't afford it. Meanwhile, the economy is still holding up, even though all these predictions that we're going to have a recession. And apparently, the economists are saying it's because of us spending our money and investing wisely. And so spending in selected categories have gone up, especially for recreation, financial, home remodeling, and motor vehicles and parts, transportation, groceries and furnishing, gasoline and energy spending have not gone up as much, but which I don't really understand, since people are spending money on recreation. But I guess they're talking about going to the movies and taking your kids to theme parks and near your house and that sort of thing. And people are they're playing with their house money too. They're refinancing or taking out a second loan, home equity loans, and to pay down other higher interest debt. So it's interesting to see. And most of the home loans have mortgage rates below 6%, according to calculations.
Which is why nobody's selling, which is why there's a shortage of housing.
Yeah, that and people don't want to buy and pay 7 or 8% interest.
Right. So you're not going to sell it. You're not going to sell your house if you got 4.
So you might as well sit there and you get a second mortgage on it if you got some equity, and pay down your credit card debts and take the kids over to Disney World.
Exactly.
So it's an interesting phenomena to see that we're still holding up after all of this.
The unemployment is ticking up, but it's not skyrocketing or anything like that.
No. And I think people also, after COVID, they're looking at the world a little bit differently. Like trying to have the most toys before you die.
Yeah.
I think that's calmed down a lot, Ken. And I think people are thinking, you know what? Maybe I should first focus on not dying. That might be the better strategy here. And I don't think people are as driven to run out and get as much goodies as they can.
No, they're looks like they're more concerned about way of life nowadays. There's a lot of resistance to going back to the office, and that's causing some domino effect in the urban areas, especially downtown restaurants are having a really tough time because they're not emptying out for lunch and they're not emptying out for dinner anymore the way they used to.
Yep.
So patterns have changed.
It was busy downtown last night, I'll tell you that. I don't know where people are coming up with the money, but they got it. I mean, everybody's out walking around, eating dinner out at restaurants, and that's not cheap anymore. It's not cheap.
No, but maybe they're saving money by not commuting into the office.
Yep.
Whatever.
Yep. So the latest from Japan on the release of the radioactive water, which really wasn't radioactive. We talked about that before. No tritium was found in the fish so far.
Well, that's good news.
Yeah. But tritium is it's a heavy water, and it's a beta particle releaser. So it releases electrons, which are, they hit your skin and that's the end of it. They're stopped very easily. A piece of paper could stop an electron. At any rate, so even at that, there's and that's how they track whether or not it's of danger is the tritium, and there's no tritium that's discernible in the water that's being released. So I think that's a good thing. Of course, the Chinese are still not convinced, and they don't trust it. Oh well,
we don't care.
We don't care. Now, what about our labor crisis? What's going to happen to us?
We have a labor crisis.
I think
Not enough people. You mean?
I think that the baby boomers were the big generation, and then what was the next one? Generation X or
Yeah, I'm not sure what came after me. Yeah, I'm a baby.
Yeah.
I'm the tail end of the baby boomers.
Yeah, I'm the tail end of it too. Or no, am I? No, I'm in the middle. I'm in the middle.
Yeah, I'm 10 years behind you. So
Yeah. So labor force.
So leave some money for me, would you please, Doc?
Hell no.
Don't empty out that Social
Think I'm
Security.
crazy? Took mine early. And now as long as Medicare is paying well, I'm going to get everything done that I can get done. I think I might just have some bowel surgery just because. Yeah, but oh my gosh, it's unbelievable what some of these doctors and hospitals are charging, and it's just ridiculous amount of money they ask. But of course, Medicare doesn't pay that. But
right, try to get some dental work done. My goodness, that'll set you back.
Oh yeah. You want implants? You're talking thousands of dollars
For a tooth. Yeah, I know. Very, very expensive.
We were talking about that, Ken, about getting some orthopedic or some plastic surgery done, the wife and I. And you know where you should go for that, and I'm not kidding you, is South Korea. That is a very inexpensive. They have excellent health care there. They're a first world country. And people from Singapore and from China and from Japan go there for their health care and their little tummy tucks and their little facelifts, and
cheaper and just as good.
Yeah, better, cheaper and better. Yeah, they're right up with us. They're at our level, and it's amazing. I mean, we had some facial laser done when we were there years ago, and I told you about that, didn't I?
I don't think so.
Well, I had a bunch of little bumps on my face, which were like little fatty tumors or whatever. And so we went over there to visit the family, and my wife had a pigmented spot on her face she wanted to get taken care of. So her sister-in-law took her to her family doctor, who also had a laser and did some skin stuff. And so the wife went in there and she got that thing lasered, and she said, "Billy, you got to go in there and get those bumps off your face." So I went in and sat down with the guy, nice guy, didn't speak English, but the wife interpreted. And he said, "This is what I think it is, and here's what I think we'll do." I said, "Okay." So he touched about 35 different places on my face with the topical numbing medicine, xylocaine. He said, "Go wait in the waiting room about 45 minutes, and then I'll take care of it." So I went out there and sat there, and then went in, laid down, put the laser protective goggles on, and he zapped my face 35 places. And so after that, I said, "What do I owe you?" And the nurse at the desk said, "Well, usually he charges $150. I'm thinking, $150? Hell, if you got this done in the States, it'd be $2,500. And then she said, "But because you're a doctor, he's showing you courtesy. It's only $50. I'm like, my jaw dropped. I could not believe it.
$50.
$50.
50. Wow.
For facial plastic laser. And
South Korea.
South Korea. So I went into his office and I thanked him and I bowed to him, which is the Korean way of showing your gratitude. And then on the way out, I stole his laser. Is that wrong?
And are now charging $2,500 per bump.
Now we're going up. These are going up. So our birth rate is dropping. The U.S. birth rate per 1,000 people in 1960, it was close to 25, and now we're down to about 10 per 1,000 live births. So where are we going to get people to take care of us?
I don't know. I got 2 kids. I did my part.
Yeah, but are they going to take care of you?
No.
Why bother?
Not a chance.
If these kids won't even take care of us, why bother?
Yeah, it's not like the old days.
No, it's not.
When you moved in with the daughter or the son, and
that
stayed there till you died. Yeah,
you move in and they're out looking for a nursing home to dump you in.
And my grandfather moved in with us. 1965, my grandmother died, and he moved in with us in 65 and was with us until he attacked my mom one night because the dementia got too much for him. And at that point, they had to put him in a home. But he was with us a long, long time. Gave me my first beer and my first cigarette. Thanks, Grandpa.
What a guy. What a guy. And attacked your mother.
Well, he was crazy at that point. Yeah, but yeah. Yeah, he had the old German. He had the accent until the day he died.
Octone.
Kenneth, get up! You're late. Jawohl, Grandpa. Yeah.
Was he a Nazi or did he get out before then?
He got out between the wars. He came here in 1922.
Oh, so he escaped.
He said he actually saw Hitler speak once at an event, but he was gone before he took over. So.
I saw on TV today, the baby picture that all the Nazi magazines used as the perfect Aryan child back in the 1930s, late 30s.
Yeah.
Guess what?
Yeah.
She was a Jew. The story is her mother had taken her in for, a baby photo at one of the famous photographers in Berlin. And then there was a contest for the most Aryan, best looking baby, and she was a really good looking little baby. So this guy decided to enter her photo, and he won.
We didn't vet our babies.
And so the perfect Aryan baby is a Jew. You gotta love it, Ken. You gotta love it. You can't make this stuff up.
Too funny. You're right.
It just cracks me up. I tell you what, it's unbelievable.
Well, we got about 10 minutes left here. Anything new in Russia, Ukraine, or is that just going along, slogging along, I guess, now?
I think the Ukrainians have punched some holes in the Russian defenses, and now I don't know what they're doing to stream through. And I know Biden is trying to tie aid to the Ukraine to Israeli aid.
Yeah,
and
then now the Congress is going to tie all that to border security. It's all going to get tied together, all three of them.
Well, yeah, but I don't think that they're going to get. I mean, they might get some bones from the White House on border security, but the Democrats they hate us. They hate our country and they want to see us destroyed. And they want these people to come in. They want the terrorists in here. They want the anti-Semites.
Well, we don't.
No, we don't.
So that's why we're going to have an election, and you know what to do, folks.
That's right. That's right. Oh, did you see where Pence dropped out?
Yeah, I saw that yesterday. Mike ran out of money, huh?
Another rhino bites.
Plus, nobody was listening to him anyway.
No. I mean, first of all, the first thing you do not do is diss Trump if you want to run for president. I mean, you can debate him and you can disagree with him, but to disrespect him and say, well, he tried to make me do something I didn't want to do. Yeah, come on. I mean, all he said is, can't you stop hold up the vote and tie it up until we can investigate? I mean, that's all he wanted him to do. And Pence was like, no. Okay.
Well, and yeah, he never had a shot at it. He never really did.
No.
What do you think of Nikki? What do you think of her?
Nikki Haley, I like her, but I don't think she's going to win. I don't see her beating Trump or DeSantis, although she looks like she's a heck of a stateswoman and very astute.
Yeah, she seems to have the credentials for international work, so
she'd make a great vice president and then run for the presidency in the next cycle. If Trump wins and she's vice president, he'll be done after this second term. You can only have 2 terms. And he'll only be the second non-sequential 2-term president after Grover Cleveland. There you go. Cleveland won, lost, and won again.
Well, I didn't know that.
Yep.
Okay.
The old fat man. I think Taft was the only fatter president than Cleveland. They were big boys. Cleveland had a special bathtub put into the White House.
That big, huh?
Yeah.
Okay.
He was a big boy. He was 300 pounds.
Oh, man. I don't see any, I don't see DeSantis making any gains any further. I don't know where his campaign stands at this point.
Yeah, I don't either, and I'm not sure what his strategy is, and even if it is a strategy at all. I mean, he has a good rap, but the personality and the delivery is, I don't know, it's a little flat. You know what I'm saying?
Not good on television.
No, he's not good on television, and his voice is not. It's not that deep, resounding, commanding voice that Trump and other great leaders have had, and he doesn't have the charisma of a Clinton or a Reagan. So,
yeah, Reagan sure had that, man. Reagan, when he talked to you on television, it was like he's sitting in the living room.
Yeah, and Clinton too. I mean, Clinton, I feel your pain. I mean, he could get right inside your head. And Brett Hume said he was the most gracious man he'd ever met. He was really impressed with his demeanor. I don't know about his policies, but he liked his demeanor. You know, Brett Hume, he's a newsman with Fox. He's a senior guy there now.
Yeah, he's been around for a while. Yeah. I met Clinton once.
Yeah.
I was in a line waiting to shake hands because I snuck into an area that I wasn't supposed to be in during a presidential event. But he came by and he shook my hand. I asked him, Mr. President, you're looking a little tired. He said, I know I am. He kept on going. A long day.
Hey, what's going on with this Alaskan airline pilot who tried to shut down
oh, man, that's scary.
I mean, are they going to lock this guy up?
I hope so.
Mental institution or what? I mean, he's crazy.
He was doing drugs. He was taking some funny mushrooms or something like that.
What kind of wacko airplane pilot would do that? I mean, come on, you're like
an ex-airline pilot.
You got to stay sober, dude.
Well, he was sober. He had taken him like the day before. He wasn't even flying. He was in a jump seat in the cockpit.
Yeah, I know.
And stood up and tried to turn the engines off. Yeah.
I wonder how that would go. They don't have much lift, do they? They don't soar very well. Those planes are too heavy.
They kind of start falling right away. You got some glide time, but not a whole lot. But they got him out of there and actually put him in handcuffs. So he actually requested the handcuffs, I think.
Did he?
I think he did. I think he told him, you're going to have to put me in handcuffs. And then later on, he tried to open up an exit door. So he was nuts. He was gone on whatever it is he was in that day.
Well, the hallucinogens, they can cause a psychotic break. But why on earth is a pilot taking hallucinogenic drugs?
He doesn't like his license. He wanted to lose it.
Well, he lost it.
I think he did. Yeah.
It's all over. Let me tell you.
I think he's been fired and probably the FAA took away his right to fly. Yeah. But it's scary. There's one guy out there like that. How many others are out there right now?
You don't know. You just don't know. I mean, it's like this guy up in Maine. Why are we letting these people run loose? Why aren't we? I mean, especially pilots, they should be drug screened, every 3 months. They should be alcohol screened every 3 months. And
psychologically tested once a year.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. I mean, they've got a big responsibility. They've got 200, 300, 400 people on a plane now. And you bring down a plane and you're a mass murderer.
And there have been examples of that. I think somebody a few years back in Malaysia brought down a plane because he was depressed and wanted to kill himself. I don't know why he wanted to take 300 people with him, but.
Well, he thought they were depressed too.
That's a nasty assumption to make, son.
Yes, it is. And what about this Egyptian pilot? Remember, he took that plane down out of the late 80s, early 90s. I can't remember what year it was. It was coming from the United States going to Cairo, and he took it down in the middle of the Atlantic. And he was a jihadist. You remember that?
Something. Yeah, I remember. There's been about 3 or 4 instances of crazy pilots killing a lot of people.
So now, do we have to screen our pilots as we come onto the plane? I'd like to interview the captain.
I'm never leaving the house anymore, Doc. I'm just going to stay inside.
And you have to be very careful because they may drop the plane on your house. So make sure you look outside before you go out.
We got about a minute and a half here, Doc. What do you want to talk about for a minute and a half?
Well, I'll tell you what. I think the COVID it's still here. A lot of people are getting it, and as I said earlier in the show, it does have the potential for complications, especially the clotting complications like I had with my gut. So I'm going to go back to adding on the anticoagulants along with the Paxlovid and the prednisone. The prednisone because it stimulates an autoimmune response, this virus does, as well as a clotting response. And although it's uncommon, it certainly can be a serious and life-threatening complications to have a clot somewhere in your body, especially in your gut or a heart attack. And one of my friends told me that he had a buddy who had COVID, and 2 weeks later, he had a heart attack. No history of heart disease.
Got about 20 seconds, Doc. You want to give a phone number twice or so?
727-384-6411, 727-384-6411. I'm Dr. Bill. We're at 6399 38th Avenue North, telemedicine, full service clinic. Come on in. I'm out of here, buddy boy.
See you next week, Doc.